Welcome to the Mediation Pack for VMware vCenter training presentation, for the IBM Operations Analytics Predictive Insights product. In this presentation we will discuss the following topics. Overview of the Mediation Pack, prerequisites for the Mediation Pack, vCenter Mediation Pack data and metrics, installing and configuring the vCenter Mediation Pack, deploying the data model, and data training, support and troubleshooting, and operations analytics media resources. The IBM Operations Analytics Predictive Insights Mediation Pack for vCenter provides a pre-built model for data ingestion. This model is then used to forecast behavior outside of the modeled range, which generates alarms. The source of the vCenter metrics is provided by the vCenter database as seen in the diagram in the bottom of the slide. The following is a list of prerequisites that are needed for the vCenter Mediation Pack. Predictive Insights versions 1.3.3, 1.3.5, or 1.3.6 must be installed prior to installing the Mediation Pack. vCenter must be configured for historical collection on the metrics for every 5-minute intervals. You must also use the latest SQL or Postgres JDBC driver to connect the vCenter database with Predictive Insights. The Mediation Pack uses views that are created in the vCenter database using the vCenter views.sql file for MS SQL or using the vCenter views PostgreSQL.sql file for Postgres. Both files are located in the configuration directory in the Mediation Pack. You must run the appropriate SQL file before continuing with the Mediation Pack installation and configuration. We will now discuss the vCenter Predictive Insights solution overview, which include the topics of the source of the metrics to be ingested by Predictive Insights. vCenter provides a database and interface with the views and data streams for which the Mediation Pack will use to formulate content into Predictive Insights. In the vCenter database you are able to see multiple aggregated views such as VPXV HisStat Daily, VPXV HisStat Weekly, and VPXV HisStat Monthly, which contain the minimum, maximum, average, and standard deviation of the values collected. Predictive Insights requires granular data such as 5-minute, 10-minute, or 15-minute interval data. The list of important views used for this integration are shown on the slide along with an example of a view. The views that are used in the Mediation Pack are VPXV HisStat Daily, VPXV VMS, and VPXV Hosts. This slide shows the list of performance metrics that are used as part of the vCenter Mediation Pack. The metrics that are utilized for CPU for the virtual machines are CPU percentage used and CPU ready %. For disk metrics, the Mediation Pack leverages the disk reads and writes. The memory metrics are memory size in megabytes and percentage memory used. The network metrics are comprised of network data received and transmitted rates. The metrics that are used for the ESX hosts are CPU percentage used, memory percentage used, and host network utilization. In this section we will discuss how to install and configure the vCenter Mediation Pack. In this slide we will discuss the Mediation Pack contents. After you download the vCenter Mediation Pack, you must uncompress the zip file which contains the following directory structure. The config directory contains the SQL file that is required to create the views in the vCenter database. The docs directory will contain the user guide and the README files. The license directory contains the license files that govern the usage of the Mediation Pack. The PI model directory contains the Mediation Pack model, which is imported into Predictive Insights using the Mediation tool. The remaining directories are not used by this Mediation Pack. The following slides describe the steps that are necessary to add the mediation pack to your Operations Analytics Predictive Insights. The first step is to create the vCenter performance views using the SQL files that are bundled in the mediation pack. The second step is to configure the data model. The last step is to create the topic. This slide shows the steps needed to create the vCenter performance views. The first steps are to download and unpack the vCenter mediation pack. You must then copy the appropriate vCenter views SQL file from the bin directory of the mediation pack and then launch a command prompt to change to the SQL installation directory of tools/bin. Finally run the command as shown in step 6. We will now discuss verifying performance view creation. You will connect to the vCenter database using SQL Studio for MS SQL or pgadmin for Postgres. You should then see a list of views that were created. Select a view and confirm that the data is populated as shown in the slide. In this slide we will discuss how to add a Postgres JDBC driver. To connect to PostgreSQL, you must modify the data mediation client by adding the PostgreSQL JDBC driver so you can connect to the PostgreSQL database. You must create a backup of the com.ibm.tivoli.pa model.ui.nature jar file and extract the jar by using the command shown in step 2. You will then edit the bundle properties file by adding the lines shown on the slide. Finally rejar the file so that the new additions to the bundle properties file take effect. You should now be able to see the PostgreSQL JDBC driver in the Mediation Tool JDBC driver drop-down list. The next step to perform is to configure the data modeling by importing the model file into the Predictive Insights server. Follow the steps on the slide to import the data model. Select the Predictive Insights model in the menu and click on Next. Select the vCenter PI model file and click on OK. When prompted, click on Finish to complete the import process. We will now discuss how to configure the data source. You configure the data source by entering the data source connection details such as host name, the database name and the database user and password. Click on the Test Connect to check if the database connection is successful. If you see a connection error message, make sure that you download the SQL driver file and copy the driver file to the library directory as shown in step 5. From the Mediation tool, launch the Preferences windows as shown in the slide. When the next screen appears, click on the Predictive Insights section and provide the JDBC library path as shown in the slide. After you enter the JDBC path, you will be prompted to restart the Mediation tool. After the Mediation tool is restarted, you will verify that you can connect to the vCenter database. You will need to change to the Model Design tab and you will see all of the metric groups for the vCenter model. You must also synchronize the schema by following step 2 as shown on the slide. To verify that the data is appearing, select any metric group and click on the icon shown in the slide. You can add additional performance metrics at this time. The last step in configuring the data model is to create the topic. To create the topic, log into the Predictive Insights server, change to the bin directory of Predictive Insights and then run the command that is shown on step 4 of the slide. In this section we will discuss how to deploy the data model and start the data training process. To deploy the mediation pack, first, right-click on the model file and select the Deploy Model option as shown on the slide. For the next step, enter the host name, database, and port number of the vCenter database. You will be prompted for the vCenter database user and password. After you enter the user and password, click Yes to deploy the model. You will now start the data training process by logging into the Predictive Insights server, and change to the bin directory. After you have changed to the directory, run the command shown in the slide. After the data training process has started, you can check on the process by looking at the active event list as shown in the slide. Typically, the training process can take up to 2 weeks before the anomalies are accurately predicted. When the training process is complete, you can review any detected anomalies by logging into the console and navigating to the Detected Anomalies page. To view an anomaly, right-click on the anomaly in the active event list and launch the Service Diagnosis tool, as shown in the slide. You can now review the metric behavior for the time period as shown on the slide. If you experience any problems, you can open a problem management record with IBM support. When you open the problem ticket, you must provide the product name and version of the Predictive Insights software that you are using. You must also provide the Mediation pack name and version that you have installed. When opening the problem management ticket, you must provide screenshots and extracted files by running the command shown in the slide. Also, you should provide a use case description when the problem occurred. For information on IBM Operations Analytics, refer to the URLs that are shown on the slide. Thank you for viewing this presentation of the Mediation Pack for vCenter for the IBM Operations Analytics Predictive Insights product.